Magic mushrooms. To some people, they're sacred medicines. To others, dangerous drugs. And to scientists, they're one of evolution's weirdest mysteries. See, psilocybin, the compound that makes magic mushrooms magic, doesn't seem to give the fungus any obvious advantage in the way we normally think about evolution. So why would a mushroom go through the trouble of evolving such a strange chemical in the first place? That's the puzzle we're solving today. Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound. When we eat it, our bodies convert it into psilocin, which interacts with serotonin receptors in the brain. The result? Altered perception, hallucinations, and that sense of ego dissolution many people describe. But here's the thing, mushrooms didn't invent psilocybin for us. Humans only entered the picture after the fact. Psilocybin evolved millions of years earlier. So what was it really for? One of the strongest theories is defense. Imagine being a mushroom in the forest. You can't run away, you can't bite back, your only hope is chemistry. Many fungi produce toxins to ward off predators, and psilocybin may be one of those weapons. Studies show that psilocybin interferes with how insects process serotonin, scrambling their ability to move, eat, or reproduce normally. For an insect, that's a serious disadvantage. If eating a mushroom means losing your sense of direction or failing to mate, you're probably not going to make that mistake twice. In fact, a 2018 study suggested that psilocybin may have been a selective defense against insects at a time when fungi and insects were locked in evolutionary competition for resources. Think of it as an arms race. Insects evolved to eat fungi, fungi evolved chemistry to fight back. Psilocybin may be one of those weapons. Another possibility is that psilocybin helps fungi interact with their environment, not against predators, but with other organisms. Fungi are deeply social in their own way. Through vast underground networks of mycelium, they exchange nutrients, compete for space, and even communicate chemically. Some researchers think psilocybin could act as a signaling molecule, influencing how fungi interact with microbes, plants, or even with each other. It's almost like psilocybin might have started as part of the fungus's internal language, a way to tweak biological process in the ecosystem. That might explain why such a complex compound was conserved across so many mushroom species. Of course, there's always the possibility that psilocybin isn't a carefully designed survival tool, but more of a happy accident. Evolution doesn't plan ahead. Sometimes, genes that produce certain chemicals stick around not because they were specifically useful, but because they weren't harmful, and occasionally provided side benefits. Genetic studies have shown that the psilocybin gene cluster may have horizontally transferred between unrelated fungi species, meaning instead of inheriting it from a direct ancestor, mushrooms may have borrowed it from each other through genetic exchange. That suggests psilocybin was useful enough to spread, but not necessarily for one single clear reason. It could be an example of evolutionary tinkering, a chemical oddity that ended up being good enough to keep. Here's where the story gets wild. Whatever psilocybin's original purpose was, it accidentally taps into one of the most powerful systems in the human brain, serotonin. For us, that means visions, mystical experiences, and a sense of connection to the universe. Ancient cultures used these mushrooms in rituals, and today, modern science is revisiting them as tools for mental health. Clinical trials are showing that psilocybin can help with depression, PTSD, and anxiety, sometimes after just 1 or 2 guided sessions. So a defense mechanism against bugs may now become a life-saving treatment for humans. Talk about unintended consequences. When we ask, why do mushrooms produce psilocybin? We're really asking about the strange relationship between humans and nature. Mushrooms didn't evolve to entertain or enlighten us, but by chance, their chemical defense plugged directly into our consciousness. It's a reminder that the natural world is full of molecules doing jobs we don't fully understand. Sometimes they repel predators, sometimes they mediate ecosystems, and sometimes they open doors in the human mind. So, is psilocybin a defense strategy, a form of chemical communication, an evolutionary accident? The truth is, it's probably a mix of all three, and maybe that's the beauty of it. Mushrooms weren't trying to change the way we see reality, but by producing psilocybin, they gave us a tool that might reshape medicine, spirituality, and even how we understand the brain. The forest has secrets, and sometimes, those secrets change the world.